Good evening,
So
race fans, and
we tried to
welcome
follow them for practice, but just
to be very are qualifying now.
yeah, Matthew, you can.
Sorry, Bruce. Are in that track temps have adjusted it so far. So, Dave Huckleberry, how are you doing?
Doing good. I've been settled in watching since 4, talking to Chris Wright, watching everything going on. It's been a pretty exciting afternoon.
Absolutely, Chris Wright, one of the guys that will be here tonight. He's doing pretty well out there. He finds the 11th position, just outside that fast 9, hoping for to maybe go back out there shortly. As it does are on track now. Matthew will follow along for his run here, and
Hey, Robert, I think you need to turn off the driver chat. Make sure it's off. Now, it might be going out over my mic, so that might be it too. So
I believe that
we'll
is
see.
going out off yours, Dave, because I actually have voice.
Okay, we're good then. I just got a message from Chad. The big giant head sent a message and said he could hear your voice chat. So we're good.
Absolutely. And currently, he's sitting well inside that fast 9 at this. Quite happy with that. Oh. Matthew Weeks coming to the line here to start lap number 1. I do his lap 1. He's 132 hour energy. Well, it's there. For number 2, this is a lot of guys had, with myself included. I actually hit the wall twice there in my. I guess I didn't learn as we went along. As Matthew, but he can. Off at turn number 4 for the first time here, Matthew Weeks, number 19. See what he can do for a lap time. That is it. Wait for it to update here. 39.625, an improvement on his quick time in this server. So that's a good start for him. A little bit on the mid pack side of things. Not too far up, not too low. As now down the back straightaway into turn. This time, lap number 2. We will see a few breaks in the action here as guys are waiting for the track temperature to cool down just a little bit, as things gotten a little hot out there. It was about 125 degree track temp I went by on my last run, and that's actually pretty compared to some of the guys. Matt 39.691, so a bit of consistency first 2 laps, and that is definitely going to help him. Now, Dave, obviously you're a sponsor here in the series, sponsoring the number something that Chris Wright runs. Don't know what number he is.
Is he 57? No, that's his cup number. He's
he is 57 as well, actually. So
oh yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
that makes
Chris
it easier.
Right there.
Yeah, that's why I tuned in earlier to just check it out. He's been telling me he's been running good in practice all week, so
yeah, absolutely.
Hopped in, check it out.
As we can see, Matthew Weeks here, he just took his time, lap number 39.704. So Matthew Weeks definitely tracking towards getting him a spot in the field here, as now actually Yari Brewpocker remains on the bubble. We will move 32 cars on from round number 1 into the moving round, which will be everybody else. So hopefully some of these guys can pick it up a little bit, give us a little action last hour or so of the round of qualifying. Matthew Weeks now off 4, coming to the line, see what he can do and where he can find himself in the standings. I think this should
be close.
Mid-7. Actually, that's an 8:39.812.
Yeah, it's probably not going to do it.
No, Matthew Weeks
put him in at 34th.
Outside looking in 34th there. Unfortunate for Weeks. I know he's trying hard here. He does have one more run. I do wants to Charles T now on track in this 05 machine. This is what I do believe to be second run. You see a 39.76 there, but I believe that may be from his run. May also be incorrect on that. We'll see what he does here. Comes off at turn number 4, coming to the line. Potentially 58.178. So yeah, he was just getting up to speed there. The number 05 Charles. That's a nice grab of it here. Blue and yellow. There. I do believe does race a little bit of this open wheel stuff. I unfortunately not been around this car too much. Last race I actually did series was last season's Indy 500 where I wrecked out on lap 14. So Charles T coming to lap number 1 here. Let's see what he do. 39.517. That actually moves him up to, just based on time alone, 14th position. So that's pretty quick there. See what he can do on lap number 2. The way it works here is a 4-lap app. So you can be quick on lap 1, but if you're going to fall off lap 3, lap 4, that's what could put you on the outside looking in, as we saw with Matt. Actually, at this point here, Thiago Benedetti, first car on the outside looking in. Yari Brubacher on the bubble. Charles Teed comes to lap number 2. See how much fall off he has here. 39.517 was lap number 1. Lap number 2 here.
39.61.
39.615. So 1/10 of a second. He almost nails the wall right there, Dave.
Trying to wring every inch out of it he can.
Absolutely, and you know, that's one thing that you'll see from a lot of these guys is they're going to try to use every inch of the track, every single bit of concrete or asphalt that they can get their hands on here. As Charles T does look like he's cleaned that lap up a little bit after nearly hitting the wall here as he comes off turn 4 to finish the 3rd lap. Not sure who's next on the deck here. Possible that no coming up. That is a 39.712, so he falls another 10. As of right now, his average time should be in the 6s, I assume. Probably around Tyler Fode, Presley Sora, 24th, 25th there. So see what he can do here. The hope is that he does not fall another 10th down to 39.8 when he's looking like outside looking.
Nice line through 4 there. Coming
nice
in.
Exit there for T.
Good looking car.
Yeah, absolutely. As I use Dave's favorite word there.
I should have never told you to use that, did I?
39.
I'm going to ruin you.
42 for Charles.
Oh, that's after the checkered flag, I guess.
Yeah, he did just cross the line here as we wait for that is second.
22nd?
Second for Charles T there. Just ahead of Tate Lytle and Tyler Fode, just behind Scott Crump. Just looking through the field
now
a little.
We got an empty queue now. If there's anybody you want to talk to, we got Cesar Cabral's in our waiting room, or we got Tate Lytle.
Yeah, let's
Mark Murphy.
Let's bring up Cabral. He's been in here for a little bit, so we might as well bring him up and have a couple words.
I'll pop down and let him know. I think he's unmuted, so here we go.
Oh.
Cesar Cabral, it's Robert and David up in the booth here. You got a copy?
Yeah, that.
Hey, how are you doing tonight? How are you feeling about the speed in your car?
Oh, honestly, I'm pretty happy with the results so far. I did my first attempt was kind of a disaster, and the second one was okay. So, I'm just watching and waiting, like, because I'm kind of in the bubble at the end, but the times are really tight. So, I'm curious to see what's gonna happen today.
Yeah, absolutely. We see you on the board there in the 29th position with a 39 point. You actually see Gavin Hibbs on track there, a little bit off-road.
Yeah.
E29
It's a
there
little
for
bit
you.
Yeah,
And
the point is not about so much about the time, the position, more about the time. I guess the people are really tight. They fail in the open 500, and I'm really excited to see if I can get in here. I still have one attempt, but it's kind of like I'm afraid. Everyone's afraid to try it and destroy the work from the made so far.
yeah, absolutely. It's really tough, especially when you are limited to so few runs in the opening round of qualifying. Well, like I mentioned, RP 29 right now, but there's always that risk if you were to pull the time and make one final attempt that one little hiccup and you're on the outside looking in and having to go through the bumping round. There is only a lot to that bumping round. Definitely, and the stress there for sure. But as of right now, your time's looking pretty good, and don't see guys bumping in at this point. So definitely something to watch. But just to try to get a read on what you're thinking, when would you decide to pull your run and go again? Would you have to be around 30th or 31st, I guess?
Yeah, I'm. That's I expect not be below the 29. So to be honest, so this is this is what I expect. But yeah, if I'm still in the bubble, I'm happy. So if I'm still have time, I'm not so worried. And I will think about maybe one next attempt if I check the time, how much left, and yeah, so then I will check my position, because I'm just to you guys know, I also traveling soon. I'm in Germany, so here's pretty late, almost 2 a.m., and soon I have to take a train to travel to Nuremberg to go to the Sim Race Expo. So I'm kind of checking the time and here.
Yeah, absolutely. I did hear about the Sim Racing Expo. We have one of the I'm Canadian. One of our drivers from our Pinty has flown
Oh,
over there to take part in the international NASCAR iRacing event. It's going to take place live from the weekend, so that's definitely pretty interesting for sure, and that I definitely want to see a lot of pictures of. So
yeah, for
yeah.
sure. I bring my pictures. Actually, I take pictures for DTM, and I'm I will do some more pictures there to show off people later.
Perfect. Yeah, and just before we do let you go here, Caesar, is there anyone you want to thank for coming on board your car to help you out with your effort here for the Elite Indy 500?
Uh I just want to thank my to everyone that's watching, and it's thanks for my girlfriend to support me a lot to keep pushing, and yeah, so hope I can manage be there and get in.
Absolutely, that's the goal of everyone here. We wish you the best of luck with that, and we hope to get to have another chat with you on race day.
Yeah, for sure.
Have yourself a good
Yeah.
night, and thank you so much for joining us.
Bye.
Caesar Cabral, one of our international drivers, going to attempt to get into the Elite Indy 500 day. I don't know if you've heard about that international sim racing expo, but that sounds pretty cool to me.
I have not. And just to catch everybody up, like Gavin Hibbs went out and ran 4 laps, but he finished at 33rd, 39.694. And yeah, you can see that now on your screen updated. So
And I do believe that was the third and final run for Gavin Hibbs, so it will be bumping around for him. Actually, do not have anyone on track right now, so why don't we go ahead and pull up Mark Mert, have a little chat with him. He's one of our regulars here around the IndyCar world, so nice to pick his brain a little.
Hey guys,
Hey, Mark, how are you?
I'm not doing too bad. Just trying to trying to see if we can't get anybody in that top nine to withdraw, go out and go slower. Um, it's I'm gonna say my day is comfortably done. Um, but I'd look for some fireworks out of that midfield. I see some fast names down there: Will Height, Bennett, Burrell, Karam, Lytle. Um, those guys can easily. those guys could easily pop the those guys could easily pop a top 9 run here. If the track cools off.
Absolutely, and just looking at that midfield, like you mentioned, guys like Tate Lytle, as well as Jared Rexing, Henry Bennett, one of the drivers that I know that's pretty good in these Indy cars, as well as some real world racers such as Sage Karam, Marcy Anderson, Peter Dempsey, all of those guys on the outside of that top 9 looking right now, and I would not be surprised to see them make another run at it. And even further down, you look at Tyler Fody, one of the best drivers here in Elite, or Presley Sora, one of the young talents here on iRacing, over Askew, Marshall Stanley, um, pretty much everyone that's outside that top 9 is fairly strong, and really nice to see so much talent here. And yeah, so you find yourself in a pretty good spot right now, Pete. How are you feeling heading into the race next Friday night?
I mean, it's first of all, I mean, talk about the strength of the field a little bit. If you look at the top 10, everybody that's in that top 10 is either an official champion, a 500-mile race champion privately, or a 500-mile race champion in an official race. Like it's the top 9 is a who's who of IndyCar on this service. Um, and then that's just how deep it is. Oliver Askew drove for McLaren 2 years ago, and he's 26th. So there's no slouches. Right now, if you're in the field right now, you're you're a really good driver. Um, in terms of my plan for the race, if you call my name before mile number 401, I've made a mistake. It's just stay completely anonymous, run the lap, stay out of trouble, and put yourself in position for that last 100 miles, and really the last 50 miles. Um, kind of like Michigan was earlier this year, right? You shouldn't be calling my name until the end.
Absolutely, you are completely right about that. You know, just kind of running your own race, staying a bit quiet throughout the opening stages of the race is really important. I've had the opportunity to race a few of these. I've only done one in Elite. It didn't end very well. I wrecked on lap 14, but I was able to do one of these events and actually race alongside some pretty outstanding drivers. Tony Kanaan, Stefan Wilson, actually Mario Andretti was in that race as well, which was pretty darn cool, especially when he wrecked me going into turn 3. But but yeah, looking at the talent in this field, it's pretty exciting, and it's a race that everyone should look forward to watching. And I'm just hoping some guys get back out here and try to make some runs at it. A few of these guys have only done one run, so they got a
What's
little
the
bit
track
of.
at?
Dave, can you
Yeah, I
check
can
on
look
that?
that up.
Yeah,
It's down to 117.
so when I went out, it was 113.
Oh wow.
But there's two things that are kind of working at that, right? So um, there's two things that we're kind of working against the guys that are going now. It's gonna have to get down to 108, 107 for the track to get any faster, and that's just because it's all rubbered in and greasy now, right? You've had by my unofficial count 66 attempts, so um, the track is good and used. So it's gonna have to get cooler. It's gonna have to get a few degrees cooler than what it was just to get the same grip. The other thing is, you know, who wants to be going out? If you're in the field right now, who wants to go out? Right? Who's gonna push their chips in the middle of the table and go out? Like is somebody like Blaze Aldrich or Sage Karam? Those guys have a ton of speed, right? Henry Bennett, Will Height. Are they going to be content to start in the middle of the field, or are they going to go out? And if you go out and touch the wall, your run's over.
Absolutely.
So like would a guy like would a guy like Henry risk not making the race? Right? Like I think you'll probably see Del Porto go out. I don't know what Caesar said. I got the broadcast muted. I bet you might see him go out. He's a great qualifier. If I was Gavin Hibbs, I would be running in a private lobby as we speak because you still have the specter of Steph Wilson and Josh Chin out there,
Yeah,
both of whom
that's
have alien speed, and they're not here. They haven't made a run yet, and the track's open. So Josh Chin could pop in, run a run a 4 lap, run 4 laps at 227 and a half, and now if you're Gavin, you're out of the race.
Yeah, that's definitely a great point. And I haven't been around the IndyCar series much at all this season, but Josh Chin is a name that I definitely know as being extremely talented, especially in these open wheel cars. And you're right, those guys, Stefan Wilson as well, those guys step in, and all of a sudden, if you're Yari Brupacker or even Seth Eggert, sorry, you're potentially on the outside looking in if you're not thinking about doing another run at this point.
Right, and then you got Tiago sitting out there. He's got a lot of speed. Robert Hill and Matthew Weeks are not slow. Neither is Jake Silva. Those guys on a cooler track, um, they can knock you out of the race. So I'm surprised, honestly, if it's starting to cool down that much. I watched last year's broadcast. They can push through 25 cars in an hour. So if they went now, you could probably get 16 more cars, right? And all it's going to take is the
Absolutely.
first one. So who's gonna push in, right? It's the world's biggest game of chicken, and I'm glad I'm not in it for a change.
Yeah, it definitely is a bit of a gamble. Like, the thing is, this year as well, they've instituted that rule where you can only have 3 runs in this opening round. So if you've already run 2 times, going now with a third run, you could potentially risk the track temp dropping even further later on, and all of a sudden everyone else is passing you while you only gain 3 spots. So it's all about
Well,
the
and
timing
Jared,
of going for sure.
and then Jared, he's already used up his runs. You know what I mean? So he's done. He can't go back out and go for that fast nine if he wanted to. Like I said, I'm trying to get Nick Sudik to go back out and go slower so I can make the fast nine and get that point. But other than that, man, I mean, it's gonna be a fun show. It's just the first guy that's gonna push in and who's gonna do it.
Absolutely, as I
Um,
actually do see a car coming down pit road here right now. So I think we're about to get another run, which we'll have to see who it is. It may be one of those guys going for a fast 9 spot.
It's like it's Victor Del Porto.
yeah, that's Victor, and Victor's a points leader in this series, right? So there's a lot on the line for him. Again, you have to have 4 perfect laps here. I mean, if you don't, you're not going to make it, and that's a
Absolutely.
testament to how good this field is. And I mean, look, you look at that top nine. The 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 back half of that top nine is separated from 7, 8, 9 are separated by a grand 3,000ths of a second, and I'm another 3,000th behind them. Like that's insanity. Um, but I got to thank my good friends at Black Magic Designs and Raceverse, and I'm gonna let you guys go and talk to Tate. So um,
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mark, for joining us, and best of luck next week in the Indy 500.
yep, you guys, thanks for what you do. You have a good night.
You too. That was Mark Murphy. He currently finds himself up in that 10th position, sitting pretty right now with, I believe, just over 34 minutes left in this round of qualifying. As we see Victor Del Porto out on track right now, coming to finish lap number 1. Let's see what kind of lap time he can do. Like Mark Murphy mentioned, he is a points leader in an IndyCar series, and he's no slouch there. So he goes at 39.544. That is the 19th quickest overall time tonight. So let's see what he can do here over his 4 laps. As you see him coming down the back straightaway now, he's got a good amount of speed here, going 230 miles per hour, 231 to be exact, as he enters turn number 3, coming around that little chute here into turn number 4. This corner can be a bit of a challenge coming off here if you carry too much speed or exit at the wrong angle here. 230 miles per hour, hitting the line 231. That is a 39.612. That is not a huge drop off, Dave, from lap 1 to lap number 2. Victor Del Porto looking pretty good so far.
Yeah, he's just got to be able to keep it in there, and he should be all right. I think they get 3 chances in this one, but they'll get one more in about 40 minutes or so. You get one last chance to go for that last spot.
That's correct. Yeah, 3 attempts here in round number 1 if you want to use them, but 1 attempt only in the bumping round, which will come up, like Dave said, in about 40 minutes time. That will be everyone from 33rd on back. So currently Gavin Hibbs all the way down as Victor Del Porto finishes lap number 3. 39.666. Dave, if he can finish this lap up with a pretty decent time, I believe he will lock himself into this race.
Definitely got to get a better time than that. That's the devil's null in
Yeah,
time, isn't it?
you know what?
39.666.
We Chris Wright and I were sitting in here earlier talking, and I forget who it was, but they were having a heck of a run. They ran a 6.66 on lap number 3. Lap 4, they nailed the wall and ended the run. As Victor Del Porto comes off turn 4 here to finish up his run, he will cross the line with a 39.717. That should lock him in easily to this field. Let's wait for the update from race control.
Like 18th, maybe?
I do believe it will be probably around that 18th position as well. Dave, Henry Bennett is actually on track right now. He's going to come here to finish his first lap. Victor Del 28th, Dave, is actually the lap time. Or is the standing for Victor Del Porto. So that's definitely interesting. I thought it would have been a bit higher. As we see Henry Bennett here, this guy has a ton of skill and he's ready to put it on a show here as he comes into turn number 4 for the first time on his run. I believe this should be a fairly decent lap. 230 miles per hour, should cross about 231. I believe this will be a mid-5. Oh, 39.490. That is an outstanding first lap. 10th quickest on the day for Henry Bennett. Let's see if he can maintain it throughout 4 laps, though. That's the hardest part. You can run a 4 on the first lap, but if you're down to a 7 or an 8 by the end of lap 4, lap 1 didn't really matter because you can be fastest on 1 lap speed, but if you don't have that 4 lap speed, you're on the outside looking in. As guys like Gavin Hibbs, Thiago Bennett, AJ Hobson, they can all see that pain as they currently sit on the outside looking in here. Henry Bennett crosses the line lap number 2, 39.568, so just under a 10th of a second drop off there for Henry Bennett. Let's see if he can maintain this lap number 3. He needs to be a low 6 here to make this work. Otherwise, he may fall a little bit down. Currently, through 2 laps, he finds himself in the 16th position, which would definitely be a nice spot for anybody looking to make their way into this race. But I think a guy like Henry Bennett, this is his second run of the night. He's looking to get into that fast 9 if he can. As he comes to the line, finish lap number 3 here. That is a 39.616, so that is a great third lap for Henry Bennett. Just continuing to show his pace late in the run here. Track temp is still, like Mark Murphy mentioned, about 10 degrees higher than these early guys. So if you can find yourself in the 15th, 16th position with a late run, that's pretty outstanding as Henry Bennett goes into turn 3 here for the final time of run number 2. Now into turn 4. Let's see if he can keep this as a low 6 or mid 6 even. I think that's going to help him put down an outstanding run here. Marshall Stanley is on track. We'll go to him next as Henry Bennett finishes lap number 4 with a 39.667. That should be pretty outstanding, Dave.
Yeah, it looks good. I think we may want to look at how your spreadsheet is updating. It doesn't seem to be matching the live one much anymore. I show Henry Bennett now in 6th place. Just updated with a 39.585. There, now yours does. I don't know if there's something that makes it update, but that does not match.
I believe I
And
may
now you
have
can see
had it
Victor
minimized.
Victor Del Porto then is in the 19th spot instead of 28th.
Okay, so that is much better for Victor Del
Yeah.
Porto. He's going to be happier with that one for sure. As Marshall Stanley on track now with his run. We do have Tate Lytle sitting in the waiting room. He's been there for a while. Mr. Patient, Mr. Tate Lytle. Let's go ahead and bring him up into the booth, Dave, and have a quick chat with him.
Hey, Tate.
Hey.
Tate Lytle sitting in the fishbowl right now. Currently finds himself in the 24th position. Tate, how you feeling about that run? Is that something you may withdraw and run again?
I mean, I'm thinking about it. I don't know. There seems to be a lot of speed in the track right now. Track's cooling off nicely. But I also know if I sit here on my time, I'd probably be locked into the show. So, I don't know. This is kind of a tough spot to be in. If I was 5 places higher, I probably wouldn't even be sitting in my chair right now. I'd probably be off doing other things. But I felt like I ran a pretty good time based off of the people around when I went and the track conditions. So I think I got some decent speed in it, but I just don't want to do anything stupid and end up regretting my decision later.
Yeah, it's definitely tough to make that call. I was basically in the exact same spot as you this time last season when we were running the Indy 500 late in opening round of qualifying, about 26 minutes remaining here. I was feeling that stress as well, but also kind of feeling like, we may be locked in if we just stay here. And it turned out to be the right call, only doing one run and making it in. But there's always that opportunity to gain a little bit that gets you feeling a little bit excited as well. As we did see Victor Del Porto and Henry Bennett make massive gains on their run, but I don't know. I do think you might be in a good spot here with just over 25 minutes remaining.
Yeah, I don't know what to do.
Hey, boys,
we've got
first fast
People are
niner.
jumping in line.
First fast niner just jumped in line.
Yeah.
That's Chris Wright
don't
interrupting
know.
everybody there, but Tate Lytle.
If I'm gonna do it, I need to put my name in like yesterday. 7. So worst case, one of them's. Oh, jeez.
I think at
Oh,
this
no.
point, Tate,
I
you
think
definitely
I'm in.
have to look at the times. Look at how
11.
much
There's
time's
Chris
remaining.
Wright.
Chris, I
Chris
think
gives us a head up and then heads up, and then he does it himself.
I think I'm kind of laying in my bed at this point.
How many guys have put their name forward?
About 8 or 9.
Yeah, I don't even
13
know.
now.
I don't even know if you'd get a run if you put your name forward at this point.
Well, I'm putting my name in just so.
Just to be on there, just in case. That's
If I
probably
don't
a
get
good
a
call.
run, my time still stands. So, let's see. I'm in 24th and need to be. So that's 8. He doesn't count. 3,
16.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's 8 people ahead of me that are behind me right now. So I think I'm good. But I've thought a lot of things in life before and had it not come true.
If all 8 of those guys passed you, you would be the bubble driver in 32nd.
Yeah.
So I think your chances are probably fairly good at this point of locking in.
Yeah, I think my name's probably at the right time because I'm probably not going to get to run again.
It's always good insurance for sure to have your name on there, just in case.
We'll it'll be cool for the broadcast next week if I do make the show. Kind of have the NASCAR guy start and pee last, pretty much, and hopefully it can provide some sort of storyline other than running 27.
Absolutely, I think it'll be interesting for sure for the broadcast to follow.
Are you going to make the show, Bobby?
I don't know. I think I may have to. I definitely have to make a
show.
run in the bumping round because I decided to hit the wall out of 2 twice in my first 2 runs, and then
You better make it because dudes ain't making it. I don't want to be the only guy on our.
yeah, we definitely have to do a good job for open wheel racing jobs. Try
The
to get
sponsor
into
might
the
have to
field
pick
there.
some new cars.
Yeah, well, shout out to Open Wheel Racing Jobs for sponsoring me and Bobby and
The
Dudes
dude.
Castro Neves. Shout out to them. Go check them out, especially if you're trying to get into the world of open wheel racing. I've heard they've done quite a few good things, whether it's working with teams like McLaren or working with small teams here in the States. So go check them out. Hopefully I can get them in the show and get them some TV time next Friday. But yeah, I'm gonna go chew some fingernails for the next 22 minutes, and hopefully you can put me on the starting grid here in another 22 minutes, somewhere in the top 32.
Absolutely, Tate Lytle. Enjoy your pre-qualifying snack there of fingernails, and we hope to talk
Tate.
to you in the Fast 9.
Tate, you
Yes,
think you're going to
Christopher?
get the run again?
No.
Man, I hope so. I hope we do. I hope we didn't miss it because like 30 seconds and 10 people declared.
Yeah, the track hit 114, and it was like, what was it like? It was like, it was like Canadians on the first day of frost. You know, they all just come out of their homes and they're all in real jolly good moods. And now
Hey, it might work
everyone's
out
in
though.
line. And,
If we're like the last two to go, maybe this thing will be down into like the 109, 108 range.
dude, if it's in the 109, 108 range, we might be chicking around a little bit longer. You know what I mean?
Man, I hope so. Taking a run at this here.
Yeah. Yeah. Well. Well. Let's see. We got Fody. Let's see who's up right now.
Hey, I'm okay if all these guys
Bill
mess
Colley.
up.
Bill Colley's on track
Bill
right
Colley's on track right now, but I'm okay if all these guys mess up because with all them withdrawing their laps, I'm P30 right now.
Bill Colley just ran a 70 on his first lap, so we don't got to worry about that one.
Tate Lytle throwing darts here.
No, he ran a 70 on his first lap. I mean, nothing against the guy, just not going to have to worry about that time.
This is
Everyone's
good stuff. You
sore
never
about
hear
it.
the drivers like talk trash during qualifying. That's great.
Well, it's not like.
I mean,
don't consider that talk.
you're bringing facts. You're bringing facts.
39.769 lap number 2 for
Yeah,
Bill Colley
yeah.
the second.
Yeah, Bill Colley the second. He'll be in the bumping around here pretty quick. Then we got Scotty Crump up next. He's ahead of me, so I don't got to worry about him.
On deck. That'll be.
And then we got Photo Bird. I beat Fody by 0.02 of a second over 4 laps in our first run. So.
You know, Tate, if some of these guys mess up at this point, you're currently P20 on the board with all these laps which are on. So you're looking a little bit better at this point as well as Bill Colley comes around lap number 3, 39.777. So he's actually consistent in the mid-sevens here. Oh, he just tried to send it to space there.
Man, you sounded like a Canadian right there. Real consistent, doing real well there in
What
the
you talking about,
mid-sevens,
eh? As Bill Colley
I've got a
comes
hockey stick in
around.
my left hand and some maple syrup in the right. We're here to watch some INDYCAR qualifying here, and
You know, speaking of hockey sticks, we have my nephew over, sleeping over tonight, and he brought 4 hockey sticks with him, just because he loves hockey.
Hey,
Hockey
we
is a
lost
good sport.
another degree, boys. It's down to 112.
Bill Colley finishes up his run here.
We're gonna have some heaters here pretty quick.
39.953 for Bill Colley.
Man,
Crump's around in turn 4, and
I hope we get the run, man. If we get the run, we might have played this out perfect. We either missed it completely or we're perfect.
19 minutes remaining in round number 1 of qualifying. Scott Crump on track now to begin, I believe, his 3rd run.
Crump's another one of those NASCAR guys. He's if this was a
This is run number 2.
NASCAR
not
Cup
3.
car, I'd be shocked if Crump wasn't in the top 5.
He
but,
must have taken part in some practice, Chris, because he's on lap number 9 of the session.
Yeah, it scored his pit laps there. This is his 2nd run.
Let's see what Scott
Yeah,
Crump can do here.
It
lap
looks
number
solid
1.
line-wise. We'll see what the timing line says here.
I'm gonna say this is a mid-6.
No, that's a mid 53.
Ooh, 39.53.
53. That's
That's 19th quickest on the board of single lap speed, but again,
Well, no
that
one
doesn't
cares
matter
about that,
before.
Bobby.
Absolutely.
Track just dropped to 111 now.
Track temp
Yeah,
back to
so
what
it's
Mark
gonna
Murphy
be
ran earlier.
People be having to adjust their weight jackers. I know that first run I went out at 126. I was at +5 on the weight jacker, and you're not gonna be able to go that high with the track being this low in temperature. We got a couple really good stock car elite racers here, though. We got Scott Crump on his lap, and we got Tyler Fody coming up next.
Lap number 2 for Scott Crump.
59.
39.59. Currently about a 39.56 would be his average, which would currently be
5.62.
P4 on the board. Incredible
Yeah,
first 2
That's
laps
gonna
here.
be. I don't know if this will be. I don't think this will be Fast 9 quality, but he's definitely gonna jump some spots.
I'm thinking he's gonna be around that RC Anderson, Peter Dempsey, 13th, 14th on the board.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Yeah, kind of right in there. 11th to 14th if he can keep this pace up.
Which is a great qualifying effort.
Well, we'll see what he
for
runs here. If
Trump
he
as
runs
well.
a 61 here, we got ourselves a ball game. 63.
39.629 for Scott Crump. We'll wait
A
for
little,
that to be
little
updated.
tight out of one there.
Tyler Fode on track to begin his run. We'll go to him momentarily. Scott Crump currently P6 on the board on his 4th lap here.
Yeah,
See
so
what
5.
he can do.
He's not gonna be able to give up a whole lot here, so I think we're
don't
pretty
see-
spot on there.
I don't see this
Sorry.
sticking in the Fast 9, that's for sure. I definitely think he's
Yeah.
going to be in that RC Anderson, Peter Dempsey.
Which is, I mean, RC. I mean, darn, you're next to RC and Peter Dempsey.
Exactly.
What a couple
Exactly.
bombs they are. Yeah, Peter Dempsey, Freedom 100 winner. We got RC Anderson, who is
685, pretty outstanding run for Scott Crump
Yeah,
there. As
good.
he will go exactly where we said, between RC Anderson and Peter Dempsey.
Yeah, and RC, he's run some INDYCAR races. He's
Done some Indy
NASCAR
500s.
races.
Yeah.
Pound for pound, he's the Elite Racing League GOAT for winning percentage. So I mean, he's no slouch.
As this guy right
Yeah.
here is no slouch either. Tyler Fode.
Well,
we see
don't be
him.
too nice.
We see him winning races or trying to wreck me in the Cup side of things. So, as,
Yeah, me and Fode have been going back and forth this season on the all-time wins list. It's been I have always had a ton of respect for Fode, and I think he's always had more respect for me than. Okay, let's put it. I have more respect for him than probably anybody in the league, but also definitely any of my teammates, and he has more respect for me than any of his teammates. So we have a good banter between the two of us.
Hey now, that's a little personal here. I'm a teammate.
barely.
Tyler
I still
Fode,
think of
lap
you as
number
Adams
1,
and Messi.
39.534. So he's running
Yeah.
basically around what Scott Crump did on his first run.
And
Or
this
his
is
first
kind of what
lap
I'm
there.
basing myself off here too. I feel like whatever Fode's capable of is probably right around where I'm capable. So we'll see where he stacks himself up here, because if he's able to put himself around the Fast 9, then I might as well be praying to get the chance to run
Absolutely.
again.
As Tyler Fode comes off of turn 4 for the
This
second
lap looked a little
time
better than the
here.
first lap.
Current bubble
I mean, it's
driver
about
is me.
56.
As
About
Tyler
56
Fode
right
comes
here.
across the line here.
57. pretty good second
39.57.
lap.
Yeah, that is a really good second lap.
He's getting to the bottom a little too early in turn 1. He's scrubbing a little speed off of 1, but otherwise he looks.
After 2 laps, Tyler Fode's average currently has him sitting P2 on the board just behind Adriano Pinero. Let's see if he
Yeah.
can maintain that speed on lap number 3. If he can keep this a low 6 or even a 5.9-ish, I think he's going to set himself up really well.
Yeah,
for
if he
chance
can
at
run a
that Fast
59 here, I think he can have a chance at that bottom end of the top 9. If he runs a 6 or so, I think he's probably a little better than Scott Crump, but probably not quite good enough. Let's see what he runs here. 61.
39.61. That
Oh,
should
I
drop
don't know,
him
man.
down to
He's
5th.
in 5th, but he's gonna have to back that 61 up here to have a chance at top 9, I think.
Yeah, I think he may be in that Eric Troiano, Nicholas Sudik territory there, 9th and 10th. Potentially just inside that Fast 9. Depends what he does here. If he falls off to like a 7, then he's
It
definitely
looks like
going to
he's
be
scrubbing a little bit off of 3 and 4.
in that
Definitely
Chris
feeling
Wright
the front.
territory. But coming
Right
to
front
the
wear.
line, see what he can do.
69. Yeah, that's not gonna do it, but it's gonna be a good improvement for him. It's gonna bump him up to 11th,
39.69. Yeah, he bumps Chris
Yeah, he
Wright
beat
down
that.
to 12th.
Yeah.
Chris, you're going to be on the bubble soon here, so you better get ready.
Hey, he's a scrub.
I already pulled my time a long time ago.
This next guy definitely not a scrub. AJ Musselman, he's pretty outstanding in these open wheel cars, looking pretty good in that livery right there.
Well, and one thing about he was in the Fast 9 when he pulled his time.
He
Yeah, this was
absolutely
a-
was.
Bold strategy for him.
Yeah, Mark Murphy mentioned that there's potentially some guys that could come in here still and have a good shot at it. I don't see Stephen Wilson in the server yet, or Josh Chin, so
Well, if your name's not on the list right now, you're not gonna run.
absolutely.
Right now, the list might be too long. We might not all get runs. Like
I mean,
Tate and I.
I don't think I'm gonna get a run.
We're
'cause we
about
only got 12
11 and a
minutes.
half minutes left in the
Yeah.
opening round.
Yeah, I'm not gonna
39.506.
get a run. I
That is
think
phenomenal.
Oliver Askew is gonna be the last driver we see make a lap here tonight.
AJ Musselman 39.506 on lap number 1. That's the quickest of the last few that we've seen here. Let's see if he can maintain some of that pace here, and if he can be a
Half
low
a tenth slower
5.
than he ran around his run earlier.
Yeah, he's still pretty solid, but he may not be able to maintain it.
That lap looked pretty good. So if he can run like a 54 here, he's setting himself up real good.
AJ Musselman
55.
231 at the line. 39.551.
Really good turn 1. Didn't scrub anything. Little high in turn 2, but pretty darn good. I'm liking the way this run's looking.
Yeah, Musselman's looking really stout here on this run. Lap number 3 underway.
231 miles per hour into turn 3, full throttle. Scrubs down to 226 off of 3, back up to 228. It'll probably scrub down about 224 off of 4. Yep, barely touches
224. Yeah, you're pretty
back
pretty
climbing.
spot on there.
Back climbing 231 at the line.
231
That's
at the line.
61. That's gonna be right there.
That drops him down to second there, just ahead of Chad Frankenfield, just behind
Turn 2
Adriano
looks
Pinheiro.
really good here, though. I like the way this run's looking.
Tate's excited right now,
If
guys.
he can get himself a 63 or a 64 here, he's going to be in the Fast 9.
Next up on track after AJ Musselman finishes up this lap here is Matthew Weeks. He is currently on the outside looking to bump Marshall Stanley off that bump spot
pedal to
right
the
now.
metal.
AJ Musselman to the line. Going to be 230 at the line.
68. Where's that going to put him?
39.68. I think that P7. Ooh.
Good run. I don't
He did pick up.
know.
He did pick up. He was 8th, so he gained
was?
1 spot.
Okay, good for him. That's all you can ask. There, here comes Matthew Weeks,
The man known as Zeus on track right now.
winner
for the
last night
Bluegrass
in Elite.
State.
Was that last night? 2 nights ago in the Elite Racing Cup Series at New Hampshire.
Yeah, he did a pretty darn good job over there taking victory, and he is not
That's
one
about all
to.
the-
He's
all
not
the
one to
comment
spend
you'll
too
get
much
out of me.
time in the open wheel series, so it'll be interesting to see what he can do here.
He's
He
been
was-
struggling here in turn 1. That looked a lot better than what he did earlier. See how turn 2 looks here. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, Matthew Weeks looking pretty good on this first lap. Don't know if he'll be one to go for a top 9 spot, but if he can lock himself
He's-
into the midfield, I think he's going to
Yeah.
be pretty happy with that.
I think he just wants to be part of this show. And I hope he's got RC over there and in the Discord helping him out. He was a little shallow there in turn 4, but didn't look like it scrubbed too much speed.
See what he can
Weeks
hit
is
at
a
the
good
line.
driver too. With these track conditions,
5.72.
anybody can do it.
4.74. Let's go.
Wow, Matthew Weeks puts down the 5th fastest time of the day with a 4.74. That's an outstanding first lap
Come on.
for him here.
Come on.
He can screenshot this right now. His name's at the top of the
Nope,
board.
Nope, it doesn't matter.
Absolutely
Doesn't-
not. But
doesn't matter, yeah.
he's looking pretty good here.
Yeah. Turn 1 and 2 look good there. 3, you're pretty close to that curve, but that doesn't matter as long as you don't touch it.
Nice
Pretty
turn
good.
4 there.
4. Come on, you're halfway there, buddy.
He's
See what
going to
he runs
have
here.
a pretty solid speed at the line here.
56.
39.56, 9/10 of a second drop off. Lap 1
Nice
to
entry
2.
to turn 1 right there. He didn't scrub anything. Turn 2, little low, little early, but it sticks. Oh, man.
Matthew Weeks still tracking fairly strong here on lap number 3 of his run. Looking really good. Hitting those corners just right. Into turn 4 here for the second last time in round number 1 of qualifying. Coming to the line.
Pretty good.
Again, he's nailing that exit of turn 4 really well. He's having some of the fastest speeds coming to the line
66,
here.
so he gave up a 10th. It's a little too much time, I think, to be given up if he wants to be in the top 9. But I don't think he cares about the top 9. We weren't even talking about top 9 until he threw down a 47 on that
Matthew
first lap.
Weeks currently showing 5th on the board as he starts his final lap here.
I
down the
don't think
back
he's gonna be able to get in the top
straightaway.
9, but what a
What
clutch
a
run this has
gain
been so
for
far.
Matthew
We
Weeks
got
in that
2 more
number
corners. I
19
don't want to
machine.
be eating any words here. Good in 3. Looks like maybe he needs to dial that weight jacker back a little bit. Looks like he's a little tail happy, but come on, he's got the spurs in her here. Fast down the front straightaway. He's going to reach 231 at the line. It's going to be a 71. It's going to kick him out of the top 9, but that is going to lock
Matthew Weeks P12.
in
He
the
is
field.
definitely locked into the show. That is
He is
a
going to
great
get
game.
locked in the field. What a run. What a first lap that was.
Jerry
47.
Brubaker on track now in the number 88 machine, channeling his inner Dale Earnhardt Jr. here as he's coming around to start his first lap of the run.
Yeah, we'll see how Yari can do it. Is it Yari or?
It is Yari Brubaker. That is
Okay.
correct.
Pretty good turn 1 there.
Yeah, Yari looking pretty good here early on lap number 1. Looks like he kind of entered that corner a little bit high, in my opinion, but he's currently in the race. I'm not. Yari Brubaker into turn number 3 here. He's hitting the right speeds into these corners. Let's just see if he put the complete package together for a quick lap here on lap number 1. It's definitely important to have the pace early on and maintain it throughout. 231 at the line, exactly where he needs to be. 25th quick there, 39.547.
Well, that's the slowest first lap we've seen since Bill Colley was out on the track.
And the track tip is down to 110.
110, so that's
I mean, if you're going to do it, this is where you're going to do it. 110?
110 is less than what the quick times were earlier on.
Yep.
As we heard from Mark Murphy, who was one of the earlier guys out, he set a time that currently has him in 12th at 113 Fahrenheit as the temperature. Yari Brubaker coming to line to complete a second lap here. 230 at the line, just blips 231.
61.
Drops about a half of a tenth there. That's
too
not
bad of
too
drop
bad.
off.
If he can kind of maintain that here, lap 3 and 4.
Little high in turn 2, that'll scrub a little pace.
Current bubble driver Tiago Benedetti there in 32nd. AJ Hobson, first car on the outside looking in, as well as Marshall Stanley and myself just right there. Gavin Hibbs next up to be on the bubble if someone can knock Benedetti out. As Yari comes to the line, finish lap number 3, 39.640. That is not bad.
That is not bad at all.
Currently showing in the 12th position is Yari Brubaker.
Yeah.
If he can finish
just needs
this
to
in
finish
the
this
late
lap.
teens, I think he'll be pretty happy with that. Maybe finish up around the R.C. Anderson, Scott Crump area. I think he'd be pretty pleased with that run. As we can see, Yari Brubaker here coming to the line for the final time in this run. A little bit of a weird exit
low
there.
Low 7, he's fine. Yeah, low 7, he'd be all right. High 6, he's good. He'll be in the show.
Yari Brubaker 30 in the 39.693. That will put him in the 20th position there, just between Kevin Burrell and Eric Macedo, as Chris Wilhite is on track right now.
I expect big things out of this run right here.
Chris Wilhite was no slouch earlier on. He had some decent pace, as we see him.
High in turn 1, but
as we see him a little bit high there in turn 1, as Tate mentioned. Turn number 2, that's my trouble spot. He seemed to manage it fairly well here as he comes down the back straightaway. 231 miles per hour into turn number 3. That's about on
Really
par
good
with the rest of these guys. Let's see what he can do here through turn 4.
yeah, that was he barely clicked 226. He's 231, 232 at the line. That's gonna be a good lap. 48.
39.
Other than Matthew Weeks, that's the fastest lap we've seen in a long time.
Track's down to 109.
Our weatherman, Chris
it.
Wright, reporting 109 Fahrenheit, current track temp. We have just over 2 minutes remaining in this round of qualifying. I'm not sure who's actually next up on deck. If one of
Be
you,
Oliver Askew.
Oliver Askew, like you mentioned earlier, Tate, he will likely be the final one to run here.
Yep, we got Sage
round number
Karam
one.
on deck if able, but I don't see that being able to happen. I think Oliver Askew's going to be our last run.
Chris Wilhite to the line, lap number 2 just wrapped up here. That is a 39.562, pretty solid second lap there. If he can keep this in the high 5s, low 6s, lap 3, I think he's setting himself up fairly well. But as Tate mentioned, Sage Karam just passed Oliver Askew there on deck. If he cannot run, his last time will be reinstated. So we may see a bit of a shuffle on the board here as a few guys are waiting on deck and may not get a chance here. Chris Wilhite coming to the line to finish lap number 3, showing some good pace here. 2:31 at the line.
61. That's a really good third lap.
39.61. That is a solid third lap.
The only lap close to that on the third lap
currently.
we've seen is AJ Musselman.
Chris Wilhite,
He's currently
P2
the
currently
fast 9.
behind Adriano Pinero, just ahead of the boss man Chad Frankenfield here. As we'll see what Wilhite can do here on the final lap of his run here.
Anything in the 6s, he'll put himself momentarily in the fast 9.
Absolutely. Oliver Askew is on track now to begin his run. We'll go to him momentarily. Chris Wilhite off turn 4 coming to the line. Let's see what he can come in at. 2:31 at the line.
68.
39.68. Chris Wilhite. Chris Wilhite, P7. Chris Wilhite, P7 on the board, just ahead of AJ Musselman. Nick DeGroot on the bubble for that fast 9 as Oliver Askew on track
Sage
now.
Karam will not.
Gavin Hibbs is the bubble driver currently.
No, he left pit road here. Oh, Sage Karam won't get a time?
Sage Karam will not get a time. Oliver Askew, the last driver here in round number 1.
Pull sitter right here. I'm calling it. This guy will be the fastest we've seen all day. For now, before the fast 9.
We'll see. It looked like he was carrying a lot of speed there through 1 and 2.
He's looking
231
pretty
real
quick.
early. Didn't quite get to 232.
He maintained that 231 there. I thought he was going to hit the 232. He did not. As
this might be the first 3 we've seen today.
No, it ain't. It's going to be a low 4. Yeah, a 417. 506. Dang, we're way off.
Yeah.
Wow. 506 for Oliver Askew.
Not what we thought we'd see. This part of the run, he just
not
needs
a quick time.
Man.
Tied off of 2. He just needs to make sure he can get himself in the show now.
If I'm Gavin Hibbs, I'm biting my fingernails right now. Currently, actually, Seth Eggert is currently the bubble driver. But again, some of these times will be reinstated. Current bubble driver for that Fast 9, AJ Musselman, but Oliver Askew's time will likely fall off a little bit here. Lap number 2, 6:07, over a tenth of a second drop off from lap 1 to lap 2 as he starts his third lap here. See what he can do as he goes onto the back straightaway. See if he can get that up to 232. I don't even know if he'll hit 230. Just hits 231 here for a brief second. Off turn 3 into turn 4. Let's see what Oliver Askew can do as he's coming to the line to wrap up lap number 3 and start the final lap of his final attempt here in round number 1. That is a 39.650. That should be enough to get him into the show.
Yeah, he'll be in the show.
Definitely not a fast 9 time, so that should move Nick DeGroot back into the top 9 to make a run at that pole later tonight. Oliver Askew down the back straightaway for the final time here. See what he can do. Off turn 4, Oliver Askew coming to the line. 227 currently, 228. He hits 231 at the line. That is a 39.68. Oliver Askew P19. And to you two, Tate Lytle is 28th. He will not go to the bumping round. Chris Wright,
28.
15th. Congratulations to you both. You've both qualified for the Indy 500.
Let's see who we got here in the bumper round. We got Hibbs, Benedetti, Hobson, Stanley, Bobby Hill, Silva, Bullock, Colley, Rebelis, and Hossack. Who we got going on the who's getting that last spot before I leave?
I don't know.
I know Bobby's got to say himself.
I don't even know if I get to run.
I think Marshall Stanley.
That's what I was gonna say. If I had any money on this thing, I'd be throwing it on Marshall Stanley right here.
I think it's really hard not to look at Marshall as someone that can definitely make it in here. What we'll see now is
Marshall
Chad.
had 2 good runs though. That's why I say he had 2 runs where he just messed up one of the late laps. But
He
his
messed
lap
up his
time,
first lap this last time.
and I think Thiago is that how you say it? Benedetti.
Tiago.
Yep.
That's
yes.
a guy. That's a guy who runs the series regularly. He's got to have something left there to try to
seem pretty consistent. He just needs to get that first lap a little faster. But I'm gonna head out of here. Thanks for letting me crash the party for a little bit.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us, Tate Lytle. Congratulations on qualifying into the Indy 500.
Thank you. We'll see you guys next week from now. Number 29, openwheelracingjobs.com. INDYCAR, we'd be starting shotgun on the field, but hopefully we can get her somewhere up front where you guys will pay attention to us.
Absolutely.
All right. Have fun watching this bumping round. That'll be
should be interesting.
Should be pretty exciting, yeah. Catch y'all later.
Yes, sir. That was Tate Lytle joining us for a little bit there. While we wait to start the bumping round here, let's give a shout out to our premier partners here at Elite Racing Leagues. TA Services is one of our great partners here. TA Services for over 36 years. TA Services has been a trusted domestic and international full-service third-party logistics provider, offering freight brokerage, managed transportation, warehousing, and fulfillment, as well as cross-border logistics services to shippers around the globe. TA Services moves what matters to you. Let the TA Services team make ship happen. Blue Egg Marketing is also a great partner here we have at Elite. Blue Egg Marketing is the marketing department for small businesses, small business owners. Blue Egg is your biggest fan. And BrizzyCam. Brizzy is a venture-backed tech company based in Toronto and Boston on a mission to reimagine the group photo experience. Gone are the days of carrying around a tripod or selfie stick. They help their customers and users tell better stories around meaningful moments. They let anyone tap into nearby cameras to capture group memories at iconic places as if users were controlling their own native camera app, except now from a perfectly positioned vantage point. Today you can find Brizzy at well-known sports venues and cultural landmarks across 4 continents. Thank you to all of our great partners here at Elite Racing League and the Elite Racing Network. We are very proud to have them all here with us as we wait for the bumping round to begin here. It's been an interesting opening round. Quite a few strong competitors making it through. As Chris, how are you feeling after your run?
Well, I'll be honest here. I'm pretty disappointed that I didn't get to make another run there at the Fast 9. We pulled it, just not in time. Everybody pulled at the same time there, and I'm glad that we got into the show, first of all. That was like our main priority. But then we had some pretty good speed too, and I'm really disappointed that we didn't get to make a run there late in the session.
Absolutely. You definitely put your best foot forward there and tried your best. There's no doubt about that. And
it could be worse, right? I could be where you are.
Yeah, you could be sitting up in the booth with Chris Wright right now.
That's true. That's a terrible situation too.
As we just take a look at some pictures here of this beautiful facility waiting for the next round to begin. I do not actually know if I'm going to be making a run here. Let's wait and see what happens as Chad will update the list.
I do know this. I have to jump out of here, boys. I got a commitment to do here in about
Chris,
half an hour.
you committed, so you better head out of here. You have yourself a good night, and congratulations on making the show.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks to Dave there. Dave obviously came forward. He's the sponsor, so we're happy to put him in the show. And Robert, go out there and get yourself in the show as well.
It's definitely the goal if I get the opportunity to make a run here. Not sure if that'll happen, but we'll see.
All right, see you boys later. Good luck.
Thank
Hey,
you,
Chris.
sir. Dave, that was a crazy opening round. Quite a few guys were able to jump up and work their way around here. How are you feeling after watching that first round?
Yeah, it got pretty crazy toward the end. I'm disappointed you don't get a shot to make it into the field, and maybe dudes as well. You know, for the sponsor. I know we have one Alexander Rigon, I think is how you pronounce his name. He's going to go first. He's just here for the bumping, so he gets his one shot. Going to start in about 30 seconds, I hear.
Currently fighting to try to get myself a run here. See if we
yeah,
can put
I'm hearing
this,
you can have a run, so you got to get your name in there.
Yeah, I just sent a message to Chad, see if he can put me last on the list here. Let these other guys go, and then we'll hop in and see what we can do.
I'll definitely hold down the fort while you go make a run.
Yeah,
You won't even have to talk while you're doing it.
You know, it's
Hopefully
even
you're not doing
better.
it on the same machine, are you?
I am.
How do you go to broadcast and race at the same time?
So you're gonna see my in-car view as I go around the track and see
Oh,
if we can make the
this
show.
will be awesome. I'll love it.
As we just
I'll-
wait for Chad to finish updating the list there.
I'll make sure I send him a message too to make sure he puts you last, so we don't have to switch back. So. Oh. You're going 8.
All right, we'll be going out 8th. So hopefully Chad knows to expect a little bit of a delay as I prepare to jump into the car.
Be like one of those IMSA races where like somebody comes over and pulls you out of the broadcasting seat and throws you into the car.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. I've never done that before. As we see Alexander Ragone coming on the track now. This will be his first attempt of the evening. Just looking at that list, though, I'm seeing a few guys are not here. Marshall Stanley not appearing on that list. Presley Sora, he may have walked in actually. Presley Sora. Yes, Presley Sora did show up or did qualify. I don't know that Gavin Hibbs is still here. We actually don't have too many guys that we have to pass here, Dave, to make it into this race. So that might be interesting.
You can do it, Robert. I have faith in you.
Absolutely. As we see Alexander Ragone coming to the line here to begin his run. It's a bright orange machine. Look at that. There's my name right there in the 8th position, popping up. We'll see if we can make this work. Excuse the broadcast if it gets a little choppy when I go on track there, but we'll see. Alexander Ragone now coming into turn number 4 for the first time. See what he can do as he comes to the line. If he can hit that 231 mark, which is the standard so far, he's going to be all right. First lap for Ragone, 39.526, not too shabby for a first lap. Let's see if he can maintain that. And you know what? I do see Dudes Castroneves up there on the board as well, so he's going to make a run in this one. See if we can put one of these open wheel racing jobs machines into the race. Alexander Ragone now coming into turn 4 to wrap up lap number 2. Let's see how much fall off he has here. The average has been about 1/10 of a second So if he can keep it under a 0.6, I think he's going to be looking fairly decent on lap number 2, 563. That is not too much fall off for him whatsoever. Alexander Ragone down the back straightaway. Coming into turn number 3, he's going to hit that 231 threshold, which has been standard all evening long. Coming into turn 4, this will be the end of lap number 3, coming to the final lap. And again, in this bumping round, you only have one attempt. You cannot make multiple attempts to qualify in. This should be a 39.657, so there's that 1/10 drop off for Ragone, as now Brandon Burns should be rolling out onto the racing surface any moment to begin his run, as Ragone heads down the back straightaway for the final time tonight. 231 into turn number 3. This can be a real sketchy corner here as he heads into turn 4. Let's see what our friend Alexander Ragone can hit here coming to the line. He hits that 231 threshold just past the line. This should be a 686. That is not bad, Dave. Obviously, P1, he's the first one to go out. But up next, Brandon Burns. We saw him Monday night in the Stella's Toy Drive charity race that we did. And he was looking pretty good there. He's coming to the line here to start his run. See what kind of a time he can put down. He will be 230 miles per hour at the line to start this run. See if he can maintain a little bit throughout here, as he's looking pretty good. He gets nice and low there in turn 2, but his exit looks a little high. So that scrubbed a bit of speed off. We'll see what lap number 1 is as he heads into turn 3. Gets a nice little dive into the corner there. Comes off, doesn't hit the wall, which is always a solid. And off of turn 4, lap 1. Dave, I'm thinking this will be a high 5. 231 at the
6'4".
line. 39.641. So that is definitely on the lower end of the speed chart early on. So if he falls off at 10th here, that may call his night over. Brandon Burns here, 230 miles per hour into turn 3. A little bit slower than what we've been seeing so far, but this is his first run, his first and only run of the evening here, coming off turn 4. Almost grabs the wall there, has to do a bit of an avoidance maneuver, as Brandon Burns will run a 39.652, so not too much fall off actually between lap 1 and 2. He may be able to salvage something out of this, but he's going to need a strong run to get better than Alexander Ragone with a 39.608. Next up is Dudes Castroneves. He will be getting ready to come on a track once Brandon Burns comes around here to finish this run into turn 4 for the second last time here. Brandon Burns. This is definitely going to be in the 7s here, as Brandon Burns runs a 39.714. So as of right now, Alexander Ragone currently holding that spot at the top of the leaderboard here in the bumping round. Just 12 cars going for one spot. So this is definitely going to get interesting. It's still possible that some guys may show up last second. Stephen Wilson, Josh Chin among those that we may still see. But I think the chances of them showing up are highly unlikely, as Brandon Burns wraps up his run with a lap time of a 39.853. Not enough to knock Ragone off the top. Brandon Burns, his Indy 500 attempt is over in 4 laps. Now, Dave, we head over to Dudes Castroneves here in the number 06 machine. This gentleman right here is also sponsored by Open Wheel Racing Jobs. as well as myself and Tate Lytle. So I know those guys would definitely love to see a second car in the field. Unfortunately, two of us are trying to go through the bumping round with only one spot.
Yeah, only one of you is getting in.
As the dude comes around turn 4 here to finish up lap number 1. Actually, this might be his up to speed lap.
39.56.
39.567. That's not a bad first lap there, as he will currently, of course, be at the top of the chart. But Alexander Ragone still looking pretty good with that 6:08 pace there. We'll see what the dude can do here on lap number 2. Dudes Castro Neves now heading into turn number 4. He hits the line fairly well. Let's see if he can hit that 231 threshold that has been set at the line here. And he does.
39.58.
39.58, looking fairly decent so far here, Dave.
Good consistency.
Absolutely. Dave, what's the track temp at currently for these guys?
Looks like it's now down to 105.
Yeah, so the track's cooled off drastically, like we heard from Mark Murphy earlier on in the session when he ran a quick time. It was 113 degrees, so it's dropped 8 degrees. When I went out for my last run, it was 228 Fahrenheit. Dudes Castroneves coming up to finish lap number 3. He's looking
I think you
pretty
mean
good.
128.
What did I say?
You said 228
Oh, yeah.
Fahrenheit. At that temperature, your tires would be melting off.
I think I would be melting. 39.652 for the dude right there. Still tracking first, but that's getting even tighter. 39.602 to Alexander Ragone's 39.608. As we
He
can
can't
see,
give up anything.
No, he can definitely not give up anything. Michael Hosak is now on track. I don't know if you're seeing this, Dave, but that board right there for the bumping round is getting smaller and smaller. Dude Castroneves finishes his run 39.677. Not enough.
Yeah, I think we had a few people that didn't show up.
So we have 10 cars going for one spot at this point. Michael, where did he just come from? I think Michael Hosak took an incorrect turn there, coming onto the racing surface.
He go on part of the road course, did he?
He did. He absolutely did, and I'm so glad that we caught that on the broadcast here. Michael Hosak up into 6th gear. He is at that 225 mark coming off of turn 4. See what he can hit coming to the line to start his run here. 231. Michael Hosak hits that threshold. 232 into turn 1. 233 briefly there. That is some of the quickest speeds I've seen all night long. Michael Hosak looking pretty good. He gets
deep.
really low there.
Got a little bit of curb, I believe.
Yeah, Michael, he's a hungry Canadian right now. Digging 230 is his speed into turn 3. I think that turn 2 sequence kind of messed him up a little bit there. But he's looking fairly good here off of turn 4 to finish up lap number 1. Michael Hosak out of Canada runs a lap of
0.64.
39.64. Dave, I don't think that'll be enough. Obviously, he can still trim off a fair bit here, but that's a tough one.
Yeah, I don't think we've really seen anybody go up off their first lap.
No, if you're not one of the pros, chances are you're probably not going to gain too much. Hosak is currently on track now. Mark Rabilis will be next on track here, followed by Bill Colley, myself, Jake Silva, Tiago Benedetti, and Gavin Hibbs. Should be all we'll see in this round here. As you see, Michael Hosak runs a 39.615. He does go up, which is nice. He gains a little bit there to a 6.29. He may get a little bit closer to Dudes Castroneves this time. but I don't know that it'll be quick enough to bypass Alexander Ragone unless he puts down a 5 here.
Now, the second position does matter because they're going to be the first alternate, right?
That's correct, yeah, and we typically do see an alternate make it into the race because something comes up last minute. You know, we are only a couple weeks away from Christmas, so people get busy. Christmas
Everybody's got
parties.
full-time jobs.
Most people have full-time jobs, for sure. 39,670 for Michael Hosak. This is a really respectable run for Michael, and if this was opening round...
Whoa,
he
even deeper into that time.
He looked very sketchy coming off that corner right there. Mark Urbilas is on track to begin his run as Hosak is wrapping up his. Heads into turn 3. 229 entering the corner there, a little bit lower than we expected. As he comes off turn 4 for the final time of the evening, Michael Hosak will run a... This should be a 7. 39.8.
8.
That will drop Hosak to a 39.682 P3 as Mark Urbilas now on track. On deck will be Bill Colley. And me.
And you.
And me.
Got your helmet on? Got your gloves on?
Oh, it's on. I'm ready. I'm pumped. Let's see what we can do. I'll definitely mute my microphone during that run just in case things go sour.
Take your headphones off. I don't want to be a distraction to you. We're going to have a short break after you run to let you come back in here. Chad's already told the next driver, so.
Perfect. Chad Frankenfield thinking ahead here. I like that. As long as the track temp doesn't go down and give him an advantage, we're good.
Yeah, the shorter you can keep the break, the better for you.
Looks like AJ Hobson has just been re-added to the bumping round, giving us 11 cars going
39.61.
39.61 for Mark Urbilas. See what he can do. That's not too far off for going, but he needs a quicker lap here. Ooh, that got a little sketchy. Looks like Jake Silva has withdrawn from this round. So it'll go Bill Colley, myself, Tiago Benedetti, AJ Hobson, and Gavin Hibbs. Here, 10 drivers for one spot, and of course the alternate spots. As Urbilas comes to the line to finish lap number 2 of 4 here in his run. That'll be a 39.642. Currently tracking third.
You know, Robert, you might be an inspiration to your fellow Canadian James Hinchcliffe in that he could broadcast, jump down, and qualify for the 500, and then to make that work.
Absolutely, that would that'd be pretty cool if we can get the mayor of Hinchtown back into an IndyCar here. It's definitely unfortunate that he doesn't currently have a ride, but he's doing pretty good in the broadcasting thing as well. Mark Urbilas,
Tremendous ad.
Absolutely, it's nice to have the experience.
39.69.
Really touch on it. 39.69, not bad for Mark. Still tracking third here. As we see Urbilas coming down the back straightaway into turn 3. We should be seeing Bill Colley coming onto track about now. As we see Mark Urbilas here coming to the line.
7.3.
Finish up. Yeah, 39.73. Mark Urbilas, P3 on the board. So Bill Colley is up next. He is now leaving his pit box. That'll be the 6th of 10 drivers. So 5 drivers remaining here in the bumping round. We go Bill Colley, then myself, Tiago Benedetti, AJ Hobson, Gavin Hibbs. Dave, do you think one of those final 5 can pass Alexander Ragone to take that top spot?
I absolutely think one of those final 5 can, and he will, right? I'm counting on you. You're gonna do it, Robert.
I'm gonna do my best for sure. I think we definitely have to keep our eyes on Gavin Hibbs. He's pretty outstanding as well. AJ Hobson, Tiago Benedetti, Bill Colley, all these guys definitely all deserve a shot at making this field, and I think they would be great additions to the field. But I'm hoping to knock them all out.
I don't get paid enough to be impartial, so
As Bill
we
Colley
do this for the
starts-
love of it, and I can root for who I want.
Absolutely. As Bill Colley starts his round here.
Now, interestingly enough, Bill Colley is Bill Colley II, yet you're Robert Hill Jr.
That's right. I don't like
Did your
Roman
parents
numerals.
Did your parents give you a chance to give up the Roman numerals?
They did not.
Made that decision for you.
They did. Unfortunately, I didn't get to make it. As Bill Colley comes to the line here. See what kind of lap time he could put down.
6'3". Not going to be good enough for the top.
Ooh. A little bit of a rough exit there to turn 2. Just a real-world update here from the Snowball Derby. Josh Berry has put his car on pole for the race that's happening, I believe it's tomorrow.
And just to be clear, that's on pole, not in pool, right?
Correct. Did you see that guy finish 3rd, though?
Yeah.
That's pretty
In a
phenomenal. I mean,
I
everything
thought that was
clean,
a Ryan
but
Gavel-inspired car with very little logos on it.
electrical tape numbers, and yeah, that was pretty comical, to be fair.
39.7 on the last lap.
39.701 for Bill Colley. Currently sitting 3rd on the charts here. Again, that's not quick enough to knock Alexander Ragone off the top spot, but he could always have a shot at being one of those alternates. As the list has changed again, it looks like there may only be 2 cars left here. 39.780 for Bill Colley. It may just be myself and Gavin Hibbs, the final 2 cars in this round.
39.78 on that lap.
Coming to the line to wrap up qualifying here for Bill Colley. Let's see what he can do. That is
39.87.
39.87 for Bill Colley. All right, we're going to change things up a little bit here, and we're actually going to go in-car with me, so you can follow along and see how this goes.
All right, I'm going to do some premier sponsor ads while Robert gets ready.
Absolutely.
Our premier sponsors for Indy Racing League is TA Services. For over 36 years, TA Services has been a trusted domestic and international full-service third-party logistics provider, offering freight brokerage, managed transportation, warehousing and fulfillment, and cross-border logistics services to shippers around the globe. TA Services moves what matters to you. Let the TA Services team make ship happen for you. Second premier sponsor, Blue Egg Marketing. Blue Egg is the marketing department for small businesses. For small business owners, Blue Egg is your biggest fan. Finally is Breezy Cam. Breezy is a venture-backed tech company based in Toronto and Boston. They're on a mission to reimagine the group photo experience. Gone are the days of carrying around a tripod or selfie stick. They help their customers and users tell better stories around meaningful moments. They let anyone tap into nearby cameras to capture group memories at iconic places, as if users were controlling their own native camera, except now from a perfectly positioned vantage point. Today you can find Breezy at well-known sports venues and cultural landmarks around 4 continents. I don't have the reads for our other sponsors, but we do have Dark Horse Racing League as a sponsor, and we have OWR Racing, Open Wheel Racing Jobs, sponsoring 3 cars and also sponsoring our event for the INDYCAR. We have, I believe, Richmar Florist is the sponsor for the 500. And let's go to Robert, I believe. He's out on the track now. See how he's doing. on his warm-up lap here. So he's shooting for a 39.608 average to bump Alexander Rignon out. Rignon out of the 33rd spot. Finishing his warm-up lap there. Just above the white line. Just up to the wall and into two, past the suites. Down the long back stretch, past the golf course. Guess this will be my home track. I don't live far from here. It's the one I've definitely spent the most time at. Into turn 3, through the north chute. Just above white into turn 4, out to the wall. Coming to finish his first lap. See what it is. We need a 39.5 somewhere in there. 39.61. Maybe that wasn't start or lap since we were late. I could be off one. No, that was actually his first lap. 39.617 first lap. He's going to have to pick up the pace. Currently sitting in the first alternate position. Just down to the white. Through 3 and 4. About 225, 226 out of that corner. Let's see what the end of the second lap is. 39.70. Not looking good for our hero. Solid run though. For somebody, Robert, as he had mentioned a couple times, came out and had 3 attempts earlier. Wrecked in his first 2 attempts, so this is actually his 4th attempt today. Just up to the wall between 3 and 4. Coming down the main straightaway. Finishing up his 3rd lap. Coming in at 39.68. Maybe that was his 4th lap. Or he waved it off, one of the two, or I missed a lap, sorry. A little different trying to watch his in-car camera and see what's going on. It was kind of blinking around. So we have our last car going to be on track is Gavin Hibbs. Last shot at bumping him his way in.
And we're back.
Welcome back.
I messed up. One of the corners, but
I think I missed one of your entire laps. So I was trying to watch it through your view, and I wasn't sure which lap we were on. So
it's not too bad. You know what? We're currently 2nd alternate, so still a shot. Still a chance we might make it in. Gavin Hibbs on track now to begin the final run here in bumping round, and then we will head over to the Fast 9 to see who will sit on the front row.
You know, there have been occasions where they start more than 33, and with OWR Jobs being a sponsor, they could make quite a case for that 2nd and 3rd alternate up there.
Yeah, you know what? I may have to.
Now you know how Chad is on tradition, though, but you gotta remind him that history says.
We can start a new tradition for sure. I'll just say my name's Dale. And as we see Gavin Hibbs on the back straightaway here, heading into turn number 3, 231 miles per hour, looking pretty stout there. It'll be interesting to see what he can do. A little high entering turn 4, in my opinion, but we'll see here. Get Hibbs looking pretty good there on the front straightaway. Runs a
39.52.
39.5. That is quick. That is a quick time there for Gavin Hibbs as he comes off turn 2 here. Down the back straightaway on the 2nd lap of his run. Again, got to thank Open Wheel Racing Jobs, Dark Horse Racing, Brizzy Cam, TA Services, and Blue Egg Marketing for being here with us tonight. I heard Dave give them some shout-outs there, so good to hear. As Gavin Hibbs comes off turn 4 down the front straightaway to finish lap number 2 here. 231 at the line.
0.58.
Gavin Hibbs currently tracking really well. Let's see what his fall off is here on lap number 3. A little high there through turn 2. He almost got the wall on exit, but able to keep up the pace here. He should hit that 231 threshold. He does in turn 3. Running a little bit different than I've seen, but he's making it work as Gavin Hibbs comes off turn 4, 225, as he exits there to finish up his 3rd lap, starting the final lap of
0.693.
bumping round. That's
Big fall off.
look at that. He's a 600 to Alexander Ragon's 608. Let's see what he can do here on the final lap of his run. Gavin Hibbs needs to maintain that 0.08 difference between himself and Ragon to make it through as the final car on the official grid. Hibbs off a turn 4 here, down the front straightaway, 226 on exit, and he will finish up the round.
6-4, better.
6-4, Gavin Hibbs, your final qualifier for the Indy 500. Gavin Hibbs will actually, I apologize.
Actually, yeah.
Alexander Ragon is your final qualifier here. 608 to Gavin Hibbs 611. So Hibbs will be the first alternate. Dudes Castroneves second alternate. Myself as the third. Then Mark Rubilis, Michael Hosack, Brandon Burns, and Bill Colley. So add Alexander Ragon to the official grid for the 2022B Indy 500. What we'll do,
and I guess
now
that is how
uh,
math works. That his 4th lap was actually faster than his 3rd lap, but it still brought his average down.
That's pretty accurate, Dave, as we take a look here at who will be taking part in the Fast 9, as we have to make a quick adjustment here. Field's gotten a little smaller. As you can see, we have Nick DeGroot, AJ Musselman, Chris Wilhite, Henry Bennett, Alexander Vandesant, Robert Malechka, Rodrigo Franzoni, Chad Frankenfield, and Adriano Pinero as the 9 going for the pole here momentarily when we get underway here in the final round of qualifying here at Indianapolis for the Indy 500. Dave, let's go ahead and make some picks here.
Making some picks.
Yeah. Let's you know what? We'll pick the pole sitter. So I will let you go ahead there.
I'm going to go, I said earlier I don't get paid enough to be impartial. I'm going to pick Chad. Chad's going to get a pole tonight.
Dave Huckleberry picking Chad Frankenfield as the pole sitter for the Indy 500. I am going to have to go a little bit higher up here on this list and go with somebody that I actually knew before my iRacing days. I'm going to go with the man from motorsport.com, Nick DeGroot, to take the pole here. Nick and I used to do this. I don't even know how to describe it. We had like sliders to do the setup of the car. And then the league admin would like simulate the races, and we would sometimes win. I never won, but Nick was pretty good at it. And yeah, Nick DeGroot is my pick for the pole, as Nick DeGroot is on track right now.
So what was the other thing we were going to do now that we picked the pole? We picking the front row?
We are picking the front row. Go ahead with your second qualifier.
Probably second. I'll probably take Musselman for second.
I will go with Henry Bennett as my second qualifier. And third for you, Dave?
Third, I'll also pick with my heart and go with our good friend Alexander Van Dezant. So I'm going to put an elite elite regular on the inside and the outside of the front.
So I was gonna go with Van de Sant, but you took him there. Obviously we could pick the same people, but just
Sure.
because of his
It's a
first
different
name,
three.
I will take Robert Malechka as my third overall qualifier. Let's see if any of our guys end up on the front row. It could be a front row of Chris Wilhite, Rodrigo Frangioni, and Adriano Pinero, for all we know.
But now the track is down to 100 degrees now. So
Yeah, the track's rather cold here. These guys are going to have to play with the weight jacker a little bit different than what they did in the earlier rounds. These guys also have not qualified, some of them, in hours. So they're getting back here cold as Nick de Groot comes to the line to begin his run here. Actually, that was lap 1, 39.475.
or 7.
That is a quick time for Nick de Groot there. Ooh.
And that's a great point. Pinero ran at 4 o'clock Eastern time, so 5 hours ago.
And you also have to think too, Dave, some of these guys are international drivers. So they could have just woken up in the middle of the night to come back and do this Fast 9. I don't know where everyone is from here. I know Nick
Pinero, I
is
believe, is
from
in
the States.
Brazil, so he'd be on the same time zone as us.
Yeah.
Henry Bennett, I believe, he's over in the UK, right? So
I believe he is
he's
in the
5
UK,
hours
which
ahead.
would be about 2 in the morning there. 39.550 for Nick de Groot, currently tracking at a 39.513 for his run. I'm thinking we're going to be in the low 5s for the average time for the pole sitter. As de Groot comes off turn 3, heading into turn 4 to wrap up lap number 3 and start his final lap of the evening. This, I believe this will be a high 5 lap here. 2:31 just as he crosses the line.
5.83.
39.583 for Nick de Groot. That'll drop him just a little bit on that average time to a 5.36. Still tracking pretty good here. As we see Nick de Groot coming down the back straightaway for the final time, heading into turn number 3. This can be a tough corner as Nick got a little squirrely on exit there.
Almost
into
looked
turn
like he made a
4.
little contact.
It did look like he almost made a little bit of contact. I don't believe he did, but nice drive by Nick de Groot, wrapping up his first or his
6.2.
final run.
6.2 flat.
39.62. Next up is due to be AJ Musselman, but I'm not seeing him currently on the track. 39.557 is the time for Nick de Groot. AJ Musselman currently sitting in his pit box. On deck right now is Chris Wilhite, followed by Henry Bennett, Alexander Van de Sant, Robert Malechka, Rodrigo Frangioni, Chad Frankenfield, and Adriano Pinero. Just kind of scanning through here. I don't see...
Little bit of delay here. We had some people that were kind of playing some games, revving some engines on the pit lane. Gonna have to reset their cars. Everybody's been warned, if you get busted with it, you're going to start at the end of the field, so you would lose your top 9 spot.
This was made clear by Chad Frankenfield and the administrative team earlier today that you are not to rev your engine, as now we see AJ Musselman leaving pit road here to begin his run.
And Robert, that's a fuel thing, right? They're trying to burn off a little fuel so they're lighter before they go out.
Yeah, so if you can rev your engine a little bit, you can burn a bit of fuel. But the way that we do these qualifying runs, we start very tight on fuel. When you're midway down the back straightaway on lap number 3, you're getting that 2-lap warning of fuel. So you don't really have a lot to play with. So it's a bold strategy to do it, but you're going to lose weight in the car, which will give you that extra mile or 2 per hour more speed, which in the long run, of course, can be the difference between qualifying 9th or starting on the pole. As we'll watch AJ Musselman here start his run, coming to the line to get the green flag but 232 into turn one is among the quickest that we've seen so far tonight. I think this is going to be a good lap for Musselman.
Down the back stretch.
Heading into turn number 3 here on lap number 1, AJ Musselman. He had some pace earlier on. It's been a little bit since he was out there. He was one of the late ones to make a jump up into that fast 9, and it definitely paid off for him. Currently crossing the line, 231, 232 into 1 again, 39.459 for AJ Musselman. That is quicker than the lap put down by Nick DeGroot there. So Musselman looking pretty good, but is he going to be able to maintain that pace is the question, Dave, as he heads down the back straightaway here. Entering a little shallower than I would have anticipated. But let's see what he can do as he comes across the line here in a moment to wrap up lap number 2.
Trap temp has dipped into the double digits now, down to 99.
Track temp soon going to be in the negative, and these guys are going to need parkas in their race cars as AJ Musselman runs at 39.531. So definitely drops a little bit there. That's something that we're going to have to watch, because if he loses another 10th here, he is definitely risking falling behind Nick DeGroot on the average lap time. He may have had a quick first lap, but that does not always stand in these 4-lap qualifiers here. As Musselman works his way between turn 3 and 4 into 4 now. He's coming out of 4 to the line to wrap up lap number 3 and start the final lap of the evening for him. 230 at the line, 231 just past the line here. As Musselman runs a 5.94, continues to drop bit by bit. Still has an edge over DeGroot, but not by much. 5.28 to a 5.57 is the difference between Musselman and DeGroot, as AJ Musselman will do whatever he can to muscle his way to another quick lap here. 231 into turn 3 for the final time. He's going to head into turn 4 and make his way towards the bricks. AJ Musselman here, 224 off the corner, a little bit slower than what we're used to, and we'll see what he can do here. This should be in the mid 6s, 6.39, I think. Wow. Dave, 5.56 to a 5.57. AJ Musselman barely ahead of Nick DeGroot at this point as Chris Wilhite comes on track to begin his run.
Well, if it's any closer, we'd have to add decimal points, wouldn't we?
Absolutely. That's where things get interesting. But let's see if Chris Wilhite can maybe put down a 5.55 or a 5.58 and join the party.
I'm going to take the green.
Chris Wilhite crosses the bricks there, starting lap number 1 of his run. Again, 232 into turn 1, which we've seen from the previous 2 drivers, setting up for a nice first lap. Pretty decent exit there off turn 2 as he heads down the back straightaway towards turn 3 here. Momentarily, we'll get a gauge on how strong Chris Wilhite's car is. Again, this is another guy we saw late in the round 1 tonight that worked his way into that fast 9, and hopefully it pays off for him here. He will cross the line. 231. Chris Wilhite's time, 39.474. Again, quicker than the time put down by Nick DeGroot at the beginning of his run here. But again, it's all a question of can he maintain that pace. As we see Chris Wilhite heading down the back straightaway into turn number 3 in that beautiful purple and white machine, coming around to put down a second lap here. If he can stay in the high 4s or low 5s, I think he's on pace for a pretty good run here. 231 at the line, 39.548. So loses about 0.08 there. 5.11 is his current average time as he's down the back straightaway here on lap number 3. Chris Wilhite looking to keep that pace and stay ahead of Musselman and DeGroot. Into turn 3, coming around. That's turn 4 as he comes off 4 there with quite a bit of pace here. Chris Wilhite will cross the line, 230. So this should be a bit slower. 605, I believe. Yeah, still ahead of Musselman here. So if he can step it up and have a little bit of a jump back here to the high 5s, Chris Wilhite could see himself on the top of this chart here. Henry Bennett has jumped onto the track to begin his run here as Chris Wilhite heads into turn 4 for the final time. Let's see what he can do, Dave. What are you thinking here?
I think he's going to go faster. I think
Chris
I think he'll
Wilhite,
get it.
39.691. Not enough. 5.80. Chris Wilhite currently sitting 3rd as Henry Bennett heads onto track. After Bennett, we'll go to Alexander Vanasant, Robert Malechka, Rodrigo Frangioni, Chad Frankenfield, and Adriano Pinero. You know, Dave, I haven't been around these IndyCars much, but in almost every league I've been around, I've heard of this Henry Bennett guy that comes in and wins races. So he's got the pace, and he can definitely put it on the front row here with a nice 4-lap run. As we see Henry Bennett on the back straightaway, coming down towards turn number 3, 231 miles per hour, maintaining that pace for a fair bit of that corner. That was a quick turn 3 here, as we see Henry Bennett still 225, 226 off the corner. That's one of the quickest exits I've seen off turn 4, as Henry Bennett will be at 232 as he crosses the line. That was fast. 39.436. That's the 3rd fastest lap we've seen all day, Dave. Henry Bennett is putting down a strong run right before our eyes.
definitely came to play. If you're going to stay up that late, you want something for it.
Yeah, I mean, if he's waking up briefly here, or he likely stayed up. You know, I've sat through these qualifying sessions, and it can be nerve-wracking here. Henry Bennett off 4, still looking rather strong off that corner, which can be a tough one. 231 again at the line. Henry Bennett, 39.530. That was a quick second lap as well. So
Still solidly in first.
Absolutely. As we get the sheet updated there, 39.483 is the current average halfway through the run here for Bennett as he heads into turn number 3 here on lap number 3, coming around to turn 4. Let's see how he's going to set himself up here for the final lap. 225, 224 on exit. Henry Bennett coming to the line.
562.
562. Henry Bennett's looking real good right now, Dave. 39.509 currently.
He definitely has some wiggle room on the guys who've already gone, but you don't know how high you got to set the bar.
That's the thing. If you fall off a fair bit here, a tenth to a tenth and a half, then that's the end of Henry Bennett. But I think with the speed and consistency he's shown so far, it would be hard for him to fall off. He's still maintaining that pace through this corner. 225 on exit. I think Henry Bennett's about to see himself staying at the top of that chart. 231 at the line. 39.
594.
594. Henry Bennett, 531 is his average. As we'll move over to Alexander Vanasant. I've raced with this guy quite a bit on the NASCAR side of things. Very talented driver, very respectful. Always runs that same livery. I have to remember it's a livery on this side of things, not a paint scheme. As Alexander Vanasant hits the line of bricks to get his run underway.
Are you telling me I'm not supposed to call it a livery when I do my NASCAR stuff?
I mean,
I think I might have.
You definitely can, for sure. I've heard it. I've heard paint scheme. I've heard just about everything.
So it's a livery on horses, right? And it's a livery on Indy cars.
That's
And
right.
it's a paint scheme on NASCAR.
And Formula One. Well,
Trucks,
Formula
we'll
One,
just
they
call
all
it
run the
paint.
same thing. Yeah, exactly. Paint. Alexander Van der Sant coming to the line here. 232 at the line. 39.442. Just a little behind that time set by Henry Bennett there just a moment ago. Alexander Van der Sant, nice start to his run. As he will also exit a little high there in turn 2. Maybe I'm the one that's been doing it wrong.
I'll say these guys are all in, Robert. You're not. So.
Hey, I'm like the 17th alternate, okay?
That's all right.
Alexander Van der Sant off turn 4 to wrap up lap number 2. Halfway through the fast 9 here. Coming to the line. Van der Sant. 39.504. That's a pretty strong second lap as well. If I remember correctly, though, Bennett ran another 4 on lap number 2. So Van der Sant may need to pick it up just a little bit more here. Alex Van der Sant between 3 and 4 now into turn 4. Heading down to the yard of bricks to start the final lap of his qualifying effort here tonight. Alex Van der Sant puts down a 39.558. He currently has a gap of 0.03 between himself and Henry Bennett. Van der Sant may be able to do it, Dave, but I think it still might be a bit tough.
Field battle, definitely.
Absolutely. Robert Malechka next on deck here. He is on track right now, getting his run underway. We'll go to him momentarily as Van der Sant heads into turn 4 for the final time here. Let's see what he can do. Can Alex Van der Sant put it on the current pole?
5.95.
5.95. That's a great lap for Van der Sant. He is on the pole currently. 5.25 to Bennett's 5.31. What a run for Alexander Van der Sant, our elite regular. Robert Malechka now. This guy's coming to the line to begin his run. I did pick him in my top 3. So let's see if he
champ,
can do
right?
it. I
Coming
do
off
believe
of
so.
22A.
I do believe so, Dave.
Yeah, I believe he won 22A.
He knows how to get it done here at this race course. As we see Mr. Malechka the third. We got everyone with numerals here in this field tonight. I gotta add some in mine. You want to be David Huckleberry the 7th?
I am the only. By decree of the rest of the world.
Robert Malechka down the front straightaway here to put down his first lap of the evening. 2:32 looking, oh my gosh. 39.396. That is the quickest time we've seen all
There's a
day,
1.
Dave.
That's what that number
Wow.
1 signifies. Fastest lap of the day.
That is the fastest lap we've seen. Robert Malechka, he wants to start his title defense off rather strong here, and he's making it look good as he's going to exit this corner with the quickest speeds we've seen off of 4 all night long. Robert Malechka will hit the line 2:31. That's a 39.467. That's a rather big drop off though, Dave. That 3 definitely will help, but he has to make sure he doesn't lose too much more, as his current average time is a 4:32 here on lap number 3. Next up on track will be Rodrigo Frangioni, followed by Chad Frankenfield, and wrapping things up here tonight, Adriano Pinero. As you see Malechka coming to the line to finish up lap number 3, he puts down a time of 39.528. So continuing to fall off just a bit each time. We'll wait for the time to get updated on the scoring sheet. 4.64 currently.
4.64.
I think Malechka still has a good enough gap here. Unless he loses about a tenth to a tenth and a half here, he should be fine to hold down that top spot for now, with 3 rather speedy cars to come. Malechka coming to the line to finish up his run here. He will put down a time of 5.65. I believe that's enough to hold that top spot, at least for now. As the quickest 3 cars of the day are yet to come, with Rodrigo Frangioni, Chad Frankenfield, and Adriano Pinero, as Frangioni jumps on track now. Robert
Now we start to
Malechka.
lock in the front row, guys.
Absolutely. After this run, we will know who is starting in the top 3. Well, at least one of those top 3 spots, as Malechka currently 4.89. Alexander Van der in P2 is a 5.25. So there is a lot of speed out there right now, and we're about to see the 3 quickest guys of that opening round in Frangioni, Frankenfield, and Pinero, as these guys are now on track here. Rodrigo Frangioni coming into turn number 4 to start lap number 1 of the 3rd last run of the evening here at Indianapolis. Frangioni's opening, that is not his opening lap, that's his up to speed lap. If that was his opening lap, he should park. That might be my opening lap, but
And that is one of the
here,
longer warm-up laps.
Yeah, I believe he got here a little bit later, so he was further down pit road.
Yeah, he was further down pit road.
Probably on deck for quite a while. As you see, Frangioni
Track temp
here,
now down to 95.
95. I was going to say miles per hour. That would be fast wind. 95 degrees Fahrenheit. Track temp. Rodrigo Frangioni coming to the line. Lap number 1. He goes second fastest on the day, 39.408. He's using all the track there, Dave. He almost clipped the wall. As you see, Rodrigo Frangioni here coming down the back straightaway, heading into turn number 3, 231 miles per hour into 1. He's maintaining 228, 230 through that corner, which is rather quick here into turn 4, coming down to the yard of bricks here to finish up lap number 2. Frangioni puts down a time of
4.88.
39.488. Currently, average time of a 4.48 for Frangioni, which is just a bit quicker than Malechka. But 2 crucial laps remain to see if he can maintain that pace and lock himself onto the front row of the 2022B Elite Indy 500 presented by Open Wheel Racing Jobs. Off of 4 now, heading down to the start-finish line. Frangioni's 3rd lap of the run here will be
5.38.
39.538. So still looking rather quick here, but I think his time's about to get a lot closer to Malechka there. Chad Frankenfield now starting his warm-up. He will be the 2nd last qualifier of the evening. Frangioni 4.78 to a 4.89 from Malechka. Times are really close here. He needs to make sure he does not drop off much at all if he wants to lock himself onto that front row. Off of turn 4 for the final time. We're about to find out who will start at least 3rd in this race. Frangioni to the line.
5.84.
39.584 for Rodrigo Frangioni. He will drop to 3rd. Robert Malechka, our defending winner, is locked on to the front row of the 2022B Indy 500, as we see the boss man right here, Chad Frankenfield, coming to the line to get underway for his run in the Fast 9.
Let's go, Chad. I'm picked you.
Chad Frankenboss here in the kicking the tires machine, I believe, is on board this car. Usually is. He's doing a nice job here. Hopefully we can see Chad jump up to the top of the boards, but he's definitely going to have to put on his big boy pants if he wants to beat Malechka. Malechka put down a flyer there just moments ago as Chad Frankenfield will come off of turn 4. Dave, he just had one of the quickest exits I've seen off that corner. I've said it for the last few cars, but it continues to change as Chad Frankenfield now 39.425. That is slower than Frangioni and Maleska on their first lap, but it's all about that 4-lap average here as Chad has 3 laps remaining now on his second lap here. 2:30 in the middle of the back straightaway here, heading into turn number 3. Chad Frankenfield will plateau at 2:31, briefly goes to 2:32 as he heads into turn number 4, maintaining decent pace through that corner. Again, a nice quick exit off of 4 for Frankenfield as he comes to the line halfway through his run.
0.470.
39.470. Chad Frankenfield, currently a 4.48 average time halfway through. Again, Malechka is our current fast time of guys that have run 4 laps here at a 4.89. So Chad Frankenfield going to do his best to try to knock him off of that top spot. As Chad Frankenfield now into turn number 3 and 4, heading down to 4 here. Again, maintaining that quick pace we've seen from Frankenfield through turn 4. One of his slower exits here. I think this is going to be a mid to high 5 for Frankenfield. I may be completely wrong.
5.31.
39.531, so I was correct there. As Chad Frankenfield should drop, I believe, below Malechka here with that lap. As Frankenfield now on the back straightaway for the final time on this lap. Adriano Pinero is up next. Chad Frankenfield now 4.75 is his average time. It's going to be tight here between Frankenfield and Malechka, but we see a lot of fall off on these 4th laps here, Dave, so I think Malechka might be safe. Pinero now on track. Frankenfield to the line to finish up
5.76.
5.76, that may be a decent time, as Malechka will stay ahead of Frankenfield. Currently, 2 guys locked onto the front row, Robert Malechka and Chad Frankenfield. As the final driver of the evening, Adriano Pinero is now on track to see if he can knock these guys off of the front spot here, as Pinero was the quickest driver in the first round of qualifying here. Now he's coming out and the track's about 20 degrees cooler, so Pinero should put down a flyer of a lap here. His quick time earlier was a 39.434, which is among the quickest times of the evening. Currently 4th on the standings after more than 100 laps here tonight, hundreds of laps actually. And Pinero should be rather quick here if he can maintain that earlier pace. As we see Adriano down the back straightaway here, heading into turn number 3 to get his run underway here. 2:31 is about average what we've seen into that corner. Adriano definitely feeling above average right now as he's maintaining great pace through that corner off of turn 4, coming down the front straightaway. Adriano Pinero about to cross the start-finish line to finish up lap number
39.43.
39.43. That is his quickest time of the day, but does not move him higher than any of the previous few guys we've seen. Adriano Pinero now down the back straightaway, lap number 2 here in the Fast 9 attempt by Pinero into turn number 3. Let's see if he can gain or maintain on this lap. Pinero off of 4 down the front straightaway, coming to the yard of bricks here. 2:31 as he crosses the
4.8
line.
flat.
39.48, so a bit of a drop here. Pinero now averaging a 4.55. Dave, I do believe that Robert Malechka may be our pole sitter here tonight,
It's looking like it.
which would be quite the way to start your title defense. Taking the pole one season later, as we see Adriano Pinero, he still does have a chance, ladies and gentlemen, as he's off of turn 4 here, coming down to the start-finish line to start the final lap of the evening. We've seen many laps tonight, but this is the final one. Adriano Pinheiro, 39.544 as he crosses the line. He's now a 4.84 to Malechka's 4.89. I think the celebrations have already begun at Malechka's house as he is about to sit on the pole here at Indy. As we see Pinheiro down the back straightaway for the final time into turn 3, 231 miles per hour. Still a great pace for Pinheiro as he heads into turn 4. This will be the final exit of 4 we see tonight. Heading down to the Yard of Bricks, Adriano Pinheiro in the number 56 machine. He will put down a time of 39.577. That is not enough. Adriano Pinheiro will qualify in the 4th position here with an average time of 39.508. Robert Malechka is your pole sitter alongside Chad Frankenfield and Rodrigo Frangioni. Dave, what a great qualifying effort here tonight by all of these guys, and congratulations to our pole sitter.
Impressive day. What a long day. What an impressive day. A lot of great drivers.
Absolutely. You know, even those guys that did not make the race here, such as myself and many other great drivers, it's really impressive to see people put in the effort in this series and for such a prestigious race. I mean, it's one that even if you didn't make the race, you're definitely going to dedicate your time to sit back, watch the show, and see what happens with this event. Chad Frankenfield on track right now. I think he needs to be black flagged and put to the back. He's trying to burn fuel.
I think they're going to go to the start-finish line. If you have a camera for the start-finish line, they're going to take a photo.
So we don't actually have a start-finish line camera.
Oh. Yeah, I don't think it matters. I think one of the front row guys left. So
I believe that would be Rodrigo Frangioni. So here's our pole sitter, guys. This is Robert Malechka. What a great first name. Let's watch him do a couple laps here. As he comes back down to pit road to celebrate with his crew. Robert Malechka, your pole sitter tonight at Indy. And you know what, Dave? We actually have him in the waiting room. So why don't we go ahead and pull him up and have a quick chat? Robert Malechka, it's Robert Hill Jr. and Dave Huckleberry up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yep, how's it going, guys?
You know what, Robert? It's not as good as you. You just put it on the pole. How are you feeling right now?
Pretty good. I mean, if I'm being perfectly honest, I thought Adriano had a really good shot there, but I think he just launched off pit road a bit too late. But nonetheless, you know, great job by kind of everyone in the Turn 4 Discord, myself, Alex, AJ, Nick, and Chris. We're all up there on times and put some nice teamwork together, and I think we found kind of the best settings for the car.
Absolutely. You guys did a phenomenal job, all of you up there in the Fast 9. Put down some great laps. We saw you put down the quickest time of the day. Obviously, you were quick earlier on to make it to the Fast 9, but where did you find that extra pace? Was it solely on the track temp change, or did you try some different settings here in this Fast 9 session?
No, it was solely the track temp. I think when I did my run, I went P4 at 125 Fahrenheit track temp, and most guys were kind of low to mid 110s when they went. So I knew the pace was there, and with the track temp kind of just dropping there, made it really easy, and you could save some time by just cutting the corners a bit more than usual. So yeah, put in a pretty good 4 laps there. Made one mistake, lap 3, turn 4, but it didn't really cost me much, so I'll take it.
Absolutely, and definitely a nice spot to start up on the front row there, alongside Chad Frankenfield and Rodrigo Frangioni. You know, a lot of people don't know the effort that really goes into these sessions and these qualifying events, but how much practice did you put in prior to tonight on your qualifying effort and of course on the race itself?
I probably did 10 to 15 runs yesterday, and then today just with the track temp kind of going and trying to guess where the track temp is going to be at in these Fast 9 in the Fast 9 shootout. Probably did 5 or 6 runs there, so I'd say probably total 25's a pretty safe number to say. But I just gotta say, Chad puts on a great event every 6 months or so, and it shows by having this event for the 10th time now.
Absolutely, and of course, over here at Elite, we do run many other events. We run some NASCAR series as well. Is there a chance we may see you over there in some stock cars, or are you solely an open wheel guy?
Mainly an open wheel guy. It's kind of funny you say that because when I first started iRacing in 2020, I thought I was going to be a NASCAR guy because that's kind of all I knew. And then, fell in love with the IndyCar community and the IndyCar. And ever since then, I've been just stuck with this car. So maybe a one-off, but nothing in the near future.
Well, we love having you here anyways. And, just before we let you go here tonight, is there anyone you want to thank for helping you get here and helping you put down this qualifying effort? Obviously, you mentioned your teammates there, but there might be more people behind the scenes as well.
Yeah, for Turn 4 Discord, those guys know who they are. We worked really well together in Powerslide Motorsport. We had a good race in November with Hugo Olsen getting the win in Open Wheels 500. And we'll see if we can keep kind of dominating these Indy 500s that are going on in the community.
Absolutely. Congratulations to you, Robert. And we look forward to seeing what you can do next week. Obviously, hoping to chase another trophy here. And we're excited to see what you can do.
Yep. Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
Have a great night. That was your pole sitter here tonight, Robert Malechka, with a 39.489 average lap time. Next, we will talk to the man that makes it all happen over here at Elite, Chad Frankenfield. Chad, how's it? How you feeling?
Honestly, this is probably the most excited I've been after a qualifying, and I don't know if I've ever actually been this excited, to be honest with you. Pretty wild. When you look at the drivers that are in the Fast 9 to qualify second, it's pretty wild.
Absolutely, and obviously, anyone that knows you knows how special this facility is to you. Obviously, spent a lot of time here, and you love running here as often as you can. Obviously, you were really close to Malechka's time there. He ran a 4.89. Yours was a 5.01. You showed great pace all day long. How much testing did you put into this thing to try to find that pace to make a run at this?
I think I did a little more than I usually do than in past years. It's really just about managing the time and figuring out when to do it. But it really, I think it really comes down to the fact that the rescan version of this track is more similar to what the last track was before the tire update. So, for example, like you can run your left sides now way below that white line, where on the last scan with the new tire it was kind of iffy, and I really like to attack the corners here. So I think that helped me a lot. Yeah, I mean, I think that's really what it came down to, and really it's just the tools in the car. It's a fixed set, but there's a lot you can do with the tools, and I do got to give a shout out to Adriano. He's been really helping me a lot with that because I don't run much fixed stuff or official stuff anyway. So yeah, I mean, it really was really unbelievable. At one point in lap 4, I looked down on my wheel just real quick to peep what my lap was, and I was like, oh man, I might have a shot to put a good 4 lap average together, and I was able to do it.
Absolutely, and you definitely had the pace tonight. You were quickest before we got to the Fast 9 on solo lap speed, and you definitely showed your pace here as well. And obviously, starting on the front row here, second along Robert Malechka and Rodrigo Frangioni. How good are you feeling about your chances to maybe take home the virtual Borg Warner next Friday night here?
I mean, it's a 500-mile race, so really, I mean, you get lapped under a pit cycle, you pit too late, and guys pit, and then there's yellow comes. I mean, there's so many things that can happen. But I will say that with the way the car is on here right now, if you're not 1, 2, and maybe 3, you're kind of just riding in line until people make mistakes, which isn't too far off real life. But once I was following Adriano's lap, and once I realized that I could get P2, P2 means you're probably going to be leading some laps early in the race, and setting the tone with whoever else you're up front, just swapping back and forth. So really, that's going to be the goal, is to keep Adriano behind me on the start, and just try to battle it out with Robert, and hopefully we can just work together and not wreck each other, and just log some laps. But it's huge. It's really, I think the best spot to be is first, second, or fourth, because of the toe on the first lap. Because third place is a tough place to be. So, yeah, it's huge. I'm excited. I feel good. I think it's going to come down to who puts themselves in the right spot. Some of these guys are really good. They're insane, some of the fuel they can save. At Richmond, some of these guys were saving 15 laps more than me. So if we get into a situation where fuel save is going to be the key, I don't have a shot. But if it's a straight up fight, I think I can hang. So we'll see how it goes. I want to give a shout out to everybody, though. This has been an awesome qualifying. Thank you to Robert and Dave and everybody. Blue Egg Marketing, TA Services, Burnout Sports, Brizzy Cam, Mega Drive 86. This is final Indy 500 as our title sponsor for the series. Dark Horse Racing Series. My sponsor's Kicking the Tires. We re-up for next season, so I'm glad to have it. Seth Eggert qualified 32nd, my boss, so that was cool. And like I said, I just want to thank everybody for making this happen. It's really neat. It's a good way to get the Indy 500 fix in, and I think our guys love it. You can just tell by the qualifying. It's 6 hours or whatever, but it doesn't feel like it. It goes pretty fast. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And I do just quickly want to pass it over to Dave Huckleberry to see if he has any questions for you. I know you were his pick to take the poll here tonight. So, Dave, you got any questions for Chad before we let him go here?
Well, I just thank you for pointing that out, that I did pick you, Chad. But the academic in me has to ask, how did your presentation go?
It was good. I do got to thank, Sant, DeGroot, Cody. I had to stop and present a master's assignment, which I did really good on, so that worked out really well. But but I was more nervous for this because everything. You get one little tiny hiccup with the qualifying procedure, and it screws everything up. And that last qualifying run, Askew cleared the gun by like 30 seconds. If we have some kind of screw up, he doesn't qualify, and then potentially gets bumped. So it's stressful, and I just want to give a shout out to those guys. Did an awesome job, ran super smooth, and I want to thank you guys again for everything you guys do. This isn't easy, but I think we're going to put on a show next Friday, and yeah, that's really it.
Chad, if you get a chance, go back and watch the replay. Tate and Chris were up here when they had pulled their times, and that is just some great content of them sweating it out to see if they were going to get to run again. And Tate was just really on a roll.
Yeah, I think what makes this procedure so neat is guys get a legit sense of what it's like to qualify for the Indianapolis 500. Now, granted, bumping is one thing. This year we hopefully see some bumping again, but it's nerve-wracking, and it's so much more than just who's fast. It's who manages the weather. It's who wants to run their lap when they want to run their lap. It's when do you pull your time? Do you pull your time? Mark Rabillas had that third attempt, and he was just sitting on it, and he waited too long to get in line, and the clock ran out. It's crazy. Dave, you know this better than anybody because you go to qualifying every year. It's crazy, and you can feel the intensity with that. And this year we added the 3 attempts instead of just unlimited, so I think that actually helped. There was about a 30-minute, 45-minute time period where only a couple cars ran. But I think that was because guys were like, man, I gotta really now focus on when I use my runs because I don't have unlimited runs now. So,
Yep.
yeah, it was fun. It was good. I thought it went really well, and it's neat. And shout out to our NASCAR guys, Weeks, Crump, Tate, Fody. Fody runs IndyCar a lot. I'm trying to get Tate into it, but definitely Weeks and Crump and Wright. Those guys. Wright's figuring it out, but Crump and Weeks especially, they run IndyCar maybe once or twice a year, and They put a lot of time. They proved how good our NASCAR guys really are on here. That they can get in here with these guys that run this car year round and compete and make the field. So it's going to be an exciting race next Friday. I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. It was an exciting day for sure, following along, seeing how everyone did, and then of course the broadcast here tonight. Everyone that joined us, it was quite fun. So Chad, congratulations on your front row starting spot. Thanks for talking with us, and we hope to have the chance to speak with you next week in Victory Lane.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, guys.
That was Chad Frankenfield, your second place qualifier here tonight at Indianapolis. As you can see in the top left there, Robert Malechka on pole, Chad Frankenfield second, Rodrigo Frangioni. That's your front row. Second row, Adriano Pinero, Alex Vanasant, and Henry Bennett, row number 2. AJ Musselman, Nick DeGroot, and Chris Wilhite, row number 3. The rest of the starting lineup will be released on the official grid over on the Elite Racing League Twitter. Dave, before we wrap it up here tonight, any final thoughts on qualifying here at Indy?
No, I'm just ready for this week to go by quickly and get to the green flag next Friday night and crown another 500 champion.
Absolutely, and it's going to be an exciting one to watch, so be sure to tune in next Friday night for the Indianapolis 500 here on the Elite Racing Network. Of course, we also have our Truck League on Sunday night, Xfinity on Monday, and Cup on Wednesday, so be sure to tune in for those broadcasts as well. Thank you to Tate Lytle, Chris Wright for joining us earlier today. Everyone else that we had the opportunity to speak with, thank you for taking the time to talk with us. Thank you to everyone that tuned in at home. For David Huckleberry, I'm Robert Hill Jr. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, and have a good evening.